On this episode of Game Shack, I ask whether or not AtGames just saved the home arcade industry. Coming up next. Hey everybody, welcome on back into the Game Shack. I am your host, JDV. Thank you for stopping by. As always, you guys are our sponsors, so if you can give us a thumbs up on the way out the door and subscribe, hit the notification bell and all that jazz, we really would appreciate it. All right, the big news this week for a change isn't bad news about Arcade 1UP, but rather it is good news from AtGames, who just announced what essentially is their second generation of multi-cade in the ALU and their multi-cade V-Pin game, the ALP. What they're doing is giving us 4K screens, built-in LCD bit marquees, a bigger back box on the pinball game, a completely new upgraded chipset on that. Just everything is newer, better, faster on these new machines. Now, anybody who's watched this channel knows that I love AtGames products. I think that the ALU and the ALP are the two keystones of anybody's home arcade and really are the best way to jump into the hobby if you want to jump into this hobby, because they offer the best bang for the buck. And in terms of the pinball game that they make, there really is nothing on earth that competes at this price point. While it is certainly not the higher end type pinball games that you can either make yourself or buy, those cost in the thousands of dollars to get into, and really for the money, it's just an absolute steal in the pinball. Same thing goes for the ALU, their multi-cade. Comes with hundreds of games, has the biggest machine, has the biggest screen. With CoinOps X, you can play literally just about every game under the sun, all the way up to about PlayStation 1 type firepower games. And both of them are just really, really good machines. But as you probably already know, everybody in this hobby always wants newer, better, faster, shinier, of course. Well, this does this. This gives us a 4K screen on both varieties, that much more powerful CPU unit, built-in Solenoids in the pinball. The brilliant BitLCD screen that everybody raves about comes stock now in the second gen ALU. So a whole bunch of really nice things. Again, you're going to see a mess of games on both of them. I think it's 50 on the ALP 2.0, and I presume it'll be around 300 on the ALU 2.0. You do lose some games like Atari 2600, but you're going to gain some other more graphically difficult to reproduce type games. And of course, you're going to be able to play CoinOps X on either one of those things. And if that wasn't good enough for you, if you don't feel like investing in a whole brand new machine, you can buy the chipsets, the new boards. You're going to be able to buy those directly from AtGames and install them into units. I don't know if it'll work on a 1.0 machine, which is actually the machine I own. Doesn't really matter to me, because I'm going to keep that thing as stock as I can, because it does what it does brilliantly and I don't need to mess with it. But your mileage might vary. I'm pretty sure it's going to work on the 1.1, and I think it will work on the 1.2, but don't quote me. Anyway, check out P-Dub's video on this if you really want a deep dive on what these are all going to be able to do, or go over to Wagner's Tech Talk, who also does a great job of breaking everything down. But just suffice it to say that these new chipsets really are going to be a game changer, because it's going to allow you to play the games that you want to play, really up to and maybe even through the PlayStation 3 style of games. And what's really amazing about all of this is that they announce it before their National Owners Day, which is 5 days from now as I record this. While the National Owners Day by itself, to me, is a great thing in the industry, because it has these regular drops where you know if you save up your money, you're going to be able to get some good deals. By announcing this before this tells customers, hey, if you want to hold off for another 6 months, this is coming down the pipeline, so save your money. So it's true transparency, it's true openness. It seems to indicate, to me anyway, a true care for the customers in this hobby. And when you compare that kind of really good treatment of hobbyists versus the way a company like Arcade 1UP has done here in the last few months, and I think the distinctions are pretty big and very clear. With AtGames now, we know that they're coming out with this second gen. We know that you're going to be able to put these boards in there. We know that there's going to be future-proofing in terms of both their pinball game and their multi-cade. If you want to save your money now for these new machines, they just gave you that opportunity. So really, they just cost themselves some short-term money, because people no doubt were going to buy some of these machines on National Owners Day, who now aren't going to, because they're going to wait and buy these newer products. To me, that is the biggest news of all. Of course, we're going to see new products from these companies. Of course, we're going to see technological upgrades as time moves on and as these companies stay in business. But it's that openness, it's that transparency, it is that friendliness to us, the customers of these products, the people who really love these games and love this hobby. That to me is worth its weight in gold. And to me, they just set the gold standard for this industry in how they treat their customers. They also put pressure on Arcade1Up because now they're going to have clearly, without a doubt, the technically superior machines. There's no question about that. Whether Arcade1Up will try to match them, they're still probably not going to be matching them with multi-cades, right? They're going to be trying to match them with one-off games that have maybe 6 games or less, and they're going to be charging a pretty penny for that. Whether or not that business model can survive uncertain economic times is a real question, particularly when they are not the gold standard in terms of customer service. That crown now clearly goes to AtGames, and I'm really excited for these products. We should see the products that they've announced come out by the 4th quarter, so we should see them maybe late October. I'd expect them to be available in November. I'm not sure when you're going to be able to buy the boards. There are some pricing on those boards right now. We don't have pricing on the ALP or ALU 2.0, but I would expect them to be higher, of course, than the prices for their current units. But in a way, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's going to be a price that they think is competitive, and you're certainly going to be getting, just like always, a great bang for buck. All right, so that's it. So there's a big thumbs up for me for AtGames, both in terms of their transparency and the new tech that's coming down the line. I do hope that the other manufacturers, not just Arcade1Up, anybody who is in this market segment, takes a look at what AtGames is doing and tries to emulate it, because they're doing, in my opinion, a fantastic job. All right, so if you like this kind of content, give me a thumbs up on the way out the door. It really does help the channel. Love each other, and until next time, I'll see you guys in the Game Shack. Mwah!
Be sure to visit evilgeniusentertainment.com for exclusive content, swag, casting call news, and much, much more.